I want to think about types of rental housing. There's lots of different property types out there, but what is the best type when it comes to renting out a property and generating rental income? My name is Kaycee Miller. I work with Rentec Direct. I'm also a landlord, a property investor, and a real estate developer. I've also been in the industry for over a decade, and I've written thousands of articles for the Rentec Direct Blog and across the rental industry for various websites. I'm here today to talk about rental property types and what exactly it takes to consider a property and evaluate whether or not it's going to be the right investment property for you. So when we think about rental properties in real estate, what kind of property types are there? Actually, let's take a step back. It's not just property types, but what category of rental property is it going to be? There are residential rental properties, there are vacation rental properties, and there's also commercial rental properties. Now within each of those categories, there's going to be different types of structures, different types of property types that really fit that type of rental property category. So when I think about residential real estate and residential rental property, that's what I have the most experience in. That's what I've invested the most in myself. So I like to break down those different property types and really think about what they are, how they fit in the neighborhood, and what kind of tenants and what kind of rental income we might generate based off those top property types. So when you think of a rental property, what do you think of? Apartments, a house, a duplex? Yep, that's it. You got it. Those are the different rental property types. But let's talk about them a little bit further. So a single family home would be a standalone home that one family or one household would live in. Next up would be getting into the multifamily properties. So that what can include any property that has multiple dwelling units attached or not attached on the same property or same site. So that's where we come to thinking about duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, small apartment communities that might have an 8-plex or a couple fourplexes on it. And then you can also think about those really, really big, ginormous apartment complexes that might have 100 or 1,000 units on it. In rental real estate terms, you might hear the term property and unit. So for a lot of people who have single family rental properties, they might say, I have 4 properties. But if you are someone more familiar with multifamily rental properties, you might say, I have 4 properties, but those 4 properties could mean 4 different buildings or 4 different multifamily properties that have more units. So someone could say, I have 4 properties, but I actually have 200 units because each of those properties has 50 units on them. Or you could say, I have 4 properties, and it might mean I just have 4 single family units, or I have 1 single family home, a duplex, now we're up to 3 of those properties, and then another ADU or something like that. So you gotta, when someone's talking about how many properties they own or manage or have, I always kind of like to clarify, it's like, oh, what exactly does that mean? Because I always come from it from my experience. When I say property, I mean, I might be using that term referencing what someone else might call units. Some other people call them doors. So they might say like, oh, I have 4 properties, but 200 doors. So that could actually be the physical door that goes into the household dwelling unit. Now, when it comes to commercial properties, those are kind of categorized a different way, where you might have one big building with a lot of separate units. When you think of a commercial property, are we thinking like a strip mall where it's kind of that classic commercial property with the windows and the doors and individual tenants? But then a commercial property could be mixed use, where there is a residential property on the top and then a commercial property on the bottom. Commercial properties are typically what we mean when the tenant or the renter is a business. And so that could also be what looks like a standalone house, but inside there's separate office spaces. And so the commercial properties are treated just a little bit differently than residential rental properties, but it's always kind of interesting to think about those different property types and how they can really help you evaluate what kind of portfolio you want to have or manage. My name is Kaycee. I'm from Rentec Direct. Today we were just talking a little bit about property types when it comes to residential rental properties, touched on a little bit of what that looks like for commercial property. And I like to share this information because I think it helps form that picture in your mind of what we mean when we talk about residential rental properties. Thanks for stopping by today. You can always check out this and more information on the Rentec Direct Blog. I look forward to talking to you soon and helping you find out what my favorite types of residential rental properties are to invest in.